Hello friends. So in this lecture, we are going to quickly understand about automation component and mainly today we are going to discuss about force sensors or force transducer. So the learning outcome of this lecture is that after this lecture, student will be able to understand the basics of automation component, sensors and actuator, and particularly in this session about force transducers. Now this is the block diagram of an industrial automation in where we can see that the plant or process which is to be controlled is having certain process parameters which we need to measure, and that arrangement is called instrumentation. That means sensors or feedback system. The whole art and science of measuring and passing that information to controller is instrumentation, and then that particular thing is given to a controller, and controller is brain of the whole system, and the output is called control signal, which is weak in power. That's why you need actuator to actually implement the control logic, which is decided by the controller. So actuators and sensors are to be discussed in this unit, and in this lecture we'll start with the transducers, right? So these are the sensors which we are going to study in this subject. uh, we would start with the definition of transducer. A transducer is defined as a device which converts a physical quantity or a physical condition in electrical signal. There are many advantages of using electrical signal for any process parameter measurement. They're easy to amplify. There is no friction or inertia involved. They're easy to transmit. If suppose I have a force and converted it to electrical signal, I can send this information uh, through wires or wireless media, right? And that information or process parameter can be stored if it is in electrical form. And if I use electrical transducers, the size is also small. Now, all electrical transducers are generally either resistive or inductive or capacitive. There are some special piezoelectric or ultrasonics also. So these are the five categories. Majority or most of the transducers are either of these five only. Right? So force or weight measurement is generally done in using load cells. Now, what is force? It is the agency which is causing displacement, right? So directly, if you want to measure the force, it is difficult. Now, I want to convert. That means we in industrial instrumentation want to convert force into electrical signal. So the arrangement which is used for doing that is called load cell. Now, what is a load cell? Load cell is arrangement which converts force or weight into strain, that is deformation of the material first, and that deformation or change in dimension is measured using the sensor known as strain gauge. A strain gauge is a chip which actually undergoes a change in resistivity whenever it is subjected to strain. So a strain gauge is used as an intermittent device to convert force into electrical signal. You can see whenever it is subjected to strain, there is a change in resistivity. We can put strain gauge as one arm, or you can say one of the arm on the Western bridge. And when the resistivity is changed, Western bridge will get unbalanced, and because of which there is going to be voltage developed at the diagonal arms of the Western bridge, which will be proportional to the weight, and that is how the force measurement is actually done. So this is a quick, you can say, uh, explanation of the force transducers. It is for beginners, and those who want to have a detailed understanding should refer to more detailed literature. So this is how load cell works. It is an electromechanical device that converts weight or force into electrical signal. Load cell uses an elastic material as a primary transducer and strain gauge as a secondary transducer. You can see the force is applied on the you can say column type load cell, shown as one of the example, and that strain gauge is actually part of the Western bridge as shown. And when force is applied, you get voltage at the diagonal terminals as shown, which is proportional to force. So it can be calibrated, and then ultimately you can have the conditioning circuits so that you can display it in numbers. This is the figure. you have this is the figure showing that four strain gauges are used, which is taking care of axial as well as the radial strain. So likewise, all four R1, R2, R3, and R4 will undergo the strain, and you will have you can say more accurate representation of force, right? So in short, this is how force is converted into electrical signal, and that electrical signal is measured using the Wheatstone bridge. Right? So this is a one variety strain gauge, but this is most popular type of load force measurement or weight measurement. That's what we are going to discuss in this session, right? We are going to discuss about another type of sensor that is like let's say pressure sensing in our next class.